Okay, hi guys. Today we're going to talk about mobile push notifications. So, to recap, push notifications are the notifications that pop up on your home screen or show in the notification center from apps like WhatsApp or Facebook when an event occurs. So, mobile apps are one of the newest communication channels available to marketers today. Since the launch of the Apple App Store, consumers have downloaded 25 billion mobile apps onto their iPhones, iPads and other Apple devices. Another 10 billion apps have been downloaded in the Google Play Store. And when a consumer downloads your branded app, it opens up new possibilities to engagement, not least of which include push notifications to the home screen of their mobile devices. And while push notifications, the user immediately sees these notifications, he has to give interaction with these notifications. However, given this great power comes responsibility, because poorly executed push messages have the potential to alienate users, and they may stop using your app completely.
However, I have a question, Andrew. How do these push notifications actually work? How do you implement them? Does this mean that we have, a process running in the background for each app, giving us these notifications?
Well, that would be a technical option. Long-running apps in the background may have a bad effect on battery life and may stop that being actually accepted by the operating system's vendor app store. So, a better way to implement it would be to use the vendor's proprietary cloud push service. So for Google Android apps, that would be the Google Cloud Notification System. And for Apple iOS apps, it would be the Apple Push Notification System. These will send messages over the operating system's proprietary push client.
Okay, but that sounds a bit complicated to set up and implement. Can you show me how we would actually do this using the Android to-do apps that you made in your previous tutorial? So if I wanted to, say, add a bit of functionality where if I had a new to-do list item, anybody watching that to-do list will receive an update.
Yes, I think that would be a great example. So let's take a look at how we would do that. Firstly, we're going to have to set up our application as a Google application and enable cloud messaging. So let's have a look at that first. Okay, so we're going to start back right where we left off in the previous tutorial, and that was an Android app connecting to a mobile API in Azure. If you didn't catch that tutorial, please check it out on my channel. First thing we need to do to enable notifications into this application, because we're building an Android app in this example, we're going to go into Google Cloud Messaging. If it was Apple, we'd be using the Apple Push system. However, today we're going to be using Google, so we need to go into the Google Cloud Console. So the first thing we're going to do is go to cloud.google.com. Obviously you need a Google account for this. If you don't have one, they're quite easy to sign up for on google.com. And then I'm going to go into My Console. Okay, now that we're in My Console, we're going to go Manage All Projects, and then we're going to go Create Project. So with our naming convention for this tutorial, which was Andrew TUT, okay, create. And you can see the activity is creating. Okay, now it's been created. I can see that it's a chosen project. We're going to go into APIs and auth. First off,
we're going to go into APIs. Now down in APIs, there's mobile APIs, and we can see cloud messaging for Android. We're going to go in here, and then we're going to enable this API. Okay, we seem to be enabled. Now we're going to add some credentials to this. So add credential, an API key, and we're going to go ahead and create a server key. Give it a name and create, and we have a generated key. One other thing to note is the project ID. We're going to use this later when we go back into Azure.
Okay, so now we've set up our Google application and enabled Google Cloud Messaging.
But how do we push notifications from Azure? It doesn't know about the app key and the project ID that you just created.
So no, we're going to have to create what's called an Azure Notification Hub and add that to our project. And then we're going to have to add the details about the Google project, such as the app key and the project ID, to that notification hub.
Right, I thought so. So let's see how that actually works then.
Okay, to show you that, I'm going to have to go back into the Azure portal. So let's take a look.
Okay, so let's look at how we get this API auth key into Azure. So we've created one for the Google Cloud Service. Now, let's go back into the Azure portal, down to Mobile Services. Now, we're in our mobile API, and if we go at the top, there's a tab called Push. We created our project with a pushed hub, notification hub, but if you hadn't, it would easily ask you to create a new hub with an easy wizard to follow, basically. There's available credentials for each of the various services: Windows, Apple, Google. We've obviously done it in the Google Cloud, so we're going to enter our credential in the Google Cloud messaging settings for the API key. We're going to save that. And yes. Okay, successfully saved.
Alright, so now we've added the Google Cloud Server key to our Azure Notification Hub.
Right, but now surely you have to link up an action to generate the notification message when someone modifies a to-do list. And since the event happens in the mobile API, we will need some logic in there, right?
That's correct. So let's look at how we would change our mobile API to send that notification when someone adds something to the list.
Okay, so we're going to jump back into the code of our mobile API. Now we're going to go to the to-do item controller, and we're going to go down to the push to-do item method. Now what we need to add here is some code to add our push messages to our Google Cloud messaging service. So let's go ahead and do that now. So what we've got here is some code that creates a new message, and then it tries to push it asynchronously onto the Google service. We also log a successful message, and we also log if there's an error. We're going to go ahead and save that. Tools, and build, publish Andrew Tute, and that's going to be published shortly.
Okay, so our backend should now be sending notifications from our mobile API to our Azure Notification Hub, then from our Azure Notification Hub onto the Google Cloud Messaging System, and then onto our device.
Yeah, okay, but I remember the last time that I installed an app, it asked me if I would accept notifications. Now, there must be therefore some code in the app that tells the operating system to ask me that. So, surely we need some code in our Android app that can handle incoming notifications.
Yeah, you're right. We're going to have to add some libraries and code to handle notifications in our Android app. So let's jump into that now.
Okay, so next we're going to set up our project to use Google Play services to take advantage of Google Cloud Messaging. To do work with Google Cloud Messaging, it has some minimum API requirements for development and testing, which we're going to set in our project. First thing to do is to go into Tools, Android, SDK Manager, SDK Tools, and we're going to add Google Play services. Shouldn't take more than a minute, or hopefully less than that. Okay, there we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our Gradle file, and we're going to set a minimum SDK version, 9, and we're also going to add the line for the Google Play services in the dependencies. Next up, we're going to go into our manifest file. Now, I believe in Android Studio it actually ignores the minimum SDK version in the manifest file, so we're going to leave that, as it shouldn't make any difference. And down here we're going to add a tag to reference Google Play services. Okay, that's about all the config we need to do. Okay, next we're going to create a new class. New Java class, and we're going to call it myHandler. And then I'm going to go click OK. The first thing we're going to change is we're going to make our new class extend notifications handler. Oh, sorry, let me try again. There we go. Now it's also added the import statement. We're going to go ahead and add some more import statements. And we're going to add some following members to the class. So basically just a notification ID, notification manager, a builder, and a context. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to override the default onRegistered method. So let's add that to our class. And then we're going to add an override for the onReceive method. We're going to set a small icon. We're going to call it Notification Hub Demo. Let's change that actually. We're going to say big style text, some various settings here about our notification. Next, we're going to go into the to-do activity, and we're going to add a line after the mobile services client is initialized to hook up our mobile services handler. Okay, now we've done the basic config, let's make some code changes. First of all, in the manifest, we're going to add the following permissions. Now, this is allow us to receive messages, wake the lock, do various permissions on the phone or device. Now we're going to go into the application tag and add a reference to the receiver from Microsoft Windows Azure Notification Hub. We're going to go into the Gradle file here, and we're going to add a dependency on the Microsoft Azure Notification Handler. Next, go into the to-do activity. We're going to add an import statement to the Windows Azure Notification Manager. We're going to add our sender ID, which is basically our project number. Now if we go back into our credentials, sorry, I think it's project number. Let's have a little look. Yep, project number, and 849849. Basically that's the project number from the Google Cloud project. Next thing we want to do is make the mobile service client public and static. Okay, so let's go ahead and run our app. Launch emulator. Now it takes a little while for the emulator to launch, so I'm going to speed this up for you. Okay, so now the Android emulator has loaded, we're going to swipe to unlock. Let me try that again. And we're going to add a new item to our list. Now notice I've been playing around with the list and added a few items since last time. We're going to add test, and we're going to say ASDF, and we're going to add this new item. Now what we're expecting is when someone updates the to-do list, we're expecting the users watching that to-do list to get a notification. So let's go ahead and do that now. See it's added, and in the top of our notifications tab on Android, we can see Andrew's Hub demo test ASAF.
Alright, so there we go. I added something to the to-do list and we just got a mobile notification popping up on our device letting us know that it happened.
Yeah, that's really cool. I thought it was going to be a lot harder getting all these technologies like Google Android, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Messaging all working together in a seamless way. It was really interesting to see how notifications are programmed and work from end to end, and I'm already thinking of my own applications.
That's great. So sending notifications can be an important form of alerting the user to many different actions. Chat messages, meeting requests, promotions. But be careful. To overuse this feature, you can easily end up annoying your users, who can even stop using your app. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed our introduction to mobile notifications, and thanks for watching.